Good afternoon. Welcome back to some more stuff. I picked up an air pistol about a month ago. It is a Smith & Wesson CO2 air pistol, model 79 Golf. And like most companies, I have no idea what the model number really represents. There's not really a universal standard other than what the manufacturer or maybe the designer might know the meaning of the 79 and 78. I think that the Golf means gas, but just a guess. So I have it all tore apart right now. It was in dire need of new O-rings. Wasn't too bad to tear apart. A little tricky, but not impossible. And I have, it's actually a really, I would say, pretty good quality make as far as the build goes. It's mostly aluminum. And it's not even machined aluminum, it's more or less cast aluminum for the most part. Pretty good cast, and it's actually a very good, comfortable pistol. And I have, I'd say, larger hands. So, you know what they say about it, someone's got large hands, they need a big grip. And this grip is quite comfy. Here are it's actually plastic grips, so they go on, But this was a copy of, I think, the Smith & Wesson Model 41 22 cal pistol. It's like a target pistol, and this kind of followed suit. So I have it mostly tore apart, not 100%, just because I don't need to take out the safety, I don't need to take out the trigger. I mostly just wanted to do a little cleanup and just replace the O-rings. Took the barrel out. One thing about these barrels, and I think this is a known issue from anyone else that has these, is the rifling is just not cut very deep. It's kind of, I don't know, quite poor. Some people have replaced the barrels, but I'll keep it original. It's not going to compete on the match level, but still I think it's a cool pistol. So it came with, I have the original box. It's got the original, warranty card. The manual. Manual is actually really nice because it does give a breakdown. Some manuals don't show an exploded view of parts and everything, and I feel they did a good job with this. And it also covers the 79G model. And so some of the parts it has listed twice specific to the 22 cal. The 78G is the 22 cal, 79G is the 177. Why? I have no idea. They follow the typical airgun non-standard model naming convention. But let's see. And so they made this pistol. There's a sticker that came with it. I think this pistol was made, between the 70s and 80s, and then I think it was discontinued. It has the original price. I think it was like $40. Oh no, I don't have the sticker on this. But I think the original MSRP was like $41 or $42. And this is the little barrel wrap. This actually, when you buy it, or when it comes, this is wrapped around the barrel. So I have all the original little bits and bobs. And this kit, some of them come with a full box of CO2. This one, it's like a bag of pellets and 2 CO2 cartridges, and they're actually labeled Smith & Wesson, so it's kind of a neat little touch. And the other interesting thing is these older CO2s, I believe it lists it at 12.5 grams, where the standard is really 12 grams. So somewhere in the line there was, a change in standard CO2 cartridge sizes. So just an interesting little fact. This is not one of the earlier models. I've heard the earlier models did have an adjustable trigger. And there was also, I don't know how true this is, but I heard that, some of the casting was a little porous. So the CO2 goes in here, and it would actually bleed out through the metal over time. A little screen fits here. Trigger's quite crude, but quite comfortable. You know, it's actually I think it's steel. Most of all this other stuff is just cast aluminum. You can see it's just cast and painted. Okay, what else? The upper receiver, so the barrel just rides in here. There's a little set screw that kind of just holds it in place. The sights are adjustable. And yeah, it's just aluminum. Had to do a little, you know, the aluminum's kind of rough because, like I said, it's not machined, it's cast. So depending on the quality of the casting, some of the cuts are just real rough. So for one, you know, this I guess it's a big pin. This actually kind of holds the two receivers together, the upper and the lower. This thing was a little tricky to get out because it was kind of peened over. So I took it and ground that off so it's smooth so it can come out easier. I'll show you my little paper plate of goodies here of all the little parts. So the brass is the main valve. So a lot of the parts is just anti-corrosion, which is a good idea. And I think there's a total, this is a little O-ring kit. So there's about 5 or 6 O-rings. I'm going to replace this valve stem. So there's like a newer, I guess someone came up with like just a nylon valve stem. This one would seal. Here's like a crusty O-ring that's buried in here. So this one I'm going to replace with this guy. And it rides, you know, inside here. And it seals against that back round piece, the back of this. And the rest of the O-rings, 2 go on, 1 on each side of this. 1 goes, this is actually the plug, I have it all tore apart. 1 goes here, this is the plug that holds the CO2 and punctures it. And there is an O-ring that also goes in here. O-ring that goes on the bolt. And I think that's about it. So a lot of little tiny O-rings scattered throughout. This is the pressure adjustment for the power level. So this goes at the end of the barrel. It screws in and you can actually adjust, you know, how much power by, it has to do with like this hammer spring. And when you pull the trigger and how much CO2 it lets out. Another interesting little design is how the barrel transfer port is. Not a huge fan, but it's a little crude, but it's just, oops, it's just a little steel piece that sits in here. And then on the other side is where this would mount to the lower receiver. Went down here. And then there's a little screen that, the screen is tiny. It's a little baby screen. So this is what kind of filters out any dirt and stuff that would get inside the CO2 chamber and push out through the barrel. You don't want that. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty basic. This is how you cock it. This just pulls back. Simple. I'll get it running again. I'll make another video once I get it all put together. I kind of shine this up. It wasn't really cruddy or anything. I mean, I guess you can see some tarnish, but it's not hurting anything. But I did take some of that blue polish paste. And the O-rings were like really hard. They were actually just, they felt like plastic. They were probably the original, I don't know. But I'll get it working again. So overall, pretty neat little pistol. Hopefully it shoots well. I've heard mixed reviews. I'd say generally it's pretty good build. One thing, it is stamped Smith & Wesson. It's not the best stamp. It's kind of, see how it's kind of rolled off right there. So it's not really a good pressing, I would say. Smith & Wesson Airgun Division, Springfield, Mass. Interesting. I guess the early ones, from what I've read, were made down in Florida. I guess there was a division down there. It moved up to Springfield, Mass. And then eventually Daisy bought the rights, the design for, I forget the exact model, but I think it's one of their Powerline models. So that's why it has a lot of similarities with a Daisy product. I'm not up on all my models, so I apologize, but yeah, this is it's pretty good size air pistol. And the sights are pretty good. Yep, see there's a little manufacturer mark, a flaw that was probably in the casting mold. And yeah, I mean, for the time, I don't know what the inflation and the exchange rate is of the 70s, of $41 in the 70s, of what that equates to now. But that was, from what I read about the retail price on these, about $42, $43. But we'll bring it back to life. I mean, it's, when you think about it, it's kind of an old gun at this point, considering PCP is all the latest and greatest. But I have to replace some O-rings and get it working again. I'll do another video when I get it all sorted. The Smith & Wesson 79G.